For 8 decades, clients have been coming to BHDP to help them plan, design, and execute advanced manufacturing facilities. And I think the reason they do that is they know that we are going to put together a thoughtful plan that meets their schedule and their budget, but one that also looks at the finer details. They're challenged with resources. They're challenged with just the sheer experience or knowledge on how to take on a complex planning and design and construction problem like a manufacturing facility. So they come to us. Some of the biggest challenges I hear in some of the industrial clients that we work with are around supply chain resiliency. It is very difficult for them to get the raw materials that they need to produce the finished goods that they've already sold to the market. A lot of that stems from, historically, they've offshored a lot of their component and raw material production to developing regions. And today, it's difficult to get those products here into the U.S. So thinking about that last mile delivery of a product and kind of the challenges or strain that's put onto the system, all of those things. And then just here in the United States, what a lot of the manufacturers are talking about is being able to attract and retain skilled talent to run those production lines. A lot of the clients that we work with have advanced manufacturing equipment. These are high-speed production lines. A lot of the folks are highly trained individuals. They might have engineering degrees. So the technicians that are running these lines, so they have to have the ability to troubleshoot a line. If there's a failure mode, get it back running in a timely fashion. So they're really challenged right now with finding that talent. So you just layer all those things in. You've got an e-commerce business that's just exploding. People are expecting next day delivery. Well, in order to do that, you've got to build these distribution centers, these automated storage and retrieval warehouses closer into the city. And building them now is expensive and is difficult to do because the material supply shortages and the cost. A number of clients that we work with that are trying to address these supply chain resiliency challenges, they are thinking about expanding existing operations here in the United States or building and investing in new greenfield sites. The challenge that they're facing with that is this is something that they don't do on a daily basis. They don't necessarily have the resources in-house that have the time or the experience or knowledge to plan, design, and construct some of these advanced manufacturing facilities. So what are they doing? They're turning to BHDP. We've been doing this since 1937, and we have a proven design process that allows us to deliver a manufacturing facility that meets the needs of today and well into the future. Part of what we do is we work with the owners to understand what is the long-term project vision, and then what are the products that they need to produce and the volumes that need to produce in year 1, year 5, year 20. And then we translate that into what equipment has to be in place in order to produce that product at the volumes. So that's part of a master planning. So it's really kind of defining that capacity and business need. And then it's about layering in things like the equipment. So taking the free bodies of that equipment and layering it in and looking at how can we optimize the equipment layouts, or what we call equipment general arrangements, and then thinking about everything that has to go to that line to bring it to life. It's the steam, it's the chilled water, it's the power, of course, and planning all of that, not just for the first phase of that project, but taking into consideration how will they expand in the future. So in 5 or 10 years, when their volume increases and they need to do a plant expansion, how can they do that and do it thoughtfully while maintaining production? So it's all about that business continuity. One of the things that allows us or empowers us to deliver these great projects is our employees and the partners that we bring in. They're collaborators, they're agile, and they're problem solvers. We all know that on every project there's going to be challenges. I think the culture that we create is one in which we articulate what the challenge is, but we also bring a solution. We've got a long resume of delivering advanced manufacturing facilities and thoughtfully planning them so that they meet client schedules, their capital affordable limit, the quality needs, and the throughput requirements that they have.